Now at 5, how Joplin kindergartens are trying to make enrollment easier than ever. Plus, how a nursing home in Carthage is celebrating Mardi Gras, and
the Senate pulls an all-nighter and passes a major foreign aid package for Israel, Ukraine, and Taiwan. I'm Natalie Brandt with why it still faces an uphill battle in the House.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Pre-enrollment for Joplin School District kindergartners is now open. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. The district's kindergarten pre-enrollment opened yesterday. Any child who will be 5 years old before August 1st and who lives within district boundaries is eligible for pre-enrollment. Parents must fill out online forms before bringing state-required documents to the school their child will attend. Joplin administrators say the process might seem overwhelming, but they're ready to help.
Our parents are great. They do a great job of understanding that, hey, the earlier the better. That way we can properly plan for staffing of teachers. So we'd encourage parents, hey, if you know you have an incoming kindergartner, we'd love for you to go ahead and do the pre-enrollment so we can start that process.
Once the enrollment process is completed, parents will need to work with their school to schedule a kindergarten screening. Those screenings will take place from March 25th to April 5th. Today is Mardi Gras, the day before many Christian denominations begin the season of Lent. Well, a local nursing home is celebrating with the help of some furry friends. Residents at St. Luke's Assisted Living Facility in Carthage enjoy activities such as bingo and socializing on this Fat Tuesday. Things are more festive. Instead of a band and floats, it's cute furry friends passing out licks and beads.
Cassie comes up with the best ideas.
We are having Remy's Dog Academy from Joplin come. They are several dogs dressed up in costumes, and we're going to parade around the facility to make the residents smile today for Mardi Gras.
This is the first year that St. Luke's has celebrated Mardi Gras this way. By the way, Lent ends with Easter, which falls on March 31st this year. Joplin area organization today made a donation to Camp Childress. The camp provides recreation services for young adults and teaches them leadership skills. The organization 100 Women Who Care today donated $3,900 to the camp.
The restroom need here is great. You know, for families to come out, the outhouses, etc., are just not enough. And yet here is a perfect place to spend in nature and getting to know each other and getting to know nature.
Since it was formed in 2018, the organization has donated more than $60,000 to local charities. Boy, a nice day out there. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy.
Yeah, it turned out to be a great Tuesday for us today. Temperatures fantastic. Most of us right around 60 for an afternoon high. And still, we look great. 59 Stockton, 57 in Neosho. We have 60 at Grand Lake. Pittsburgh sitting at 59. Parsons sitting at 61 degrees. So great temperatures. A little windy out there. We've had the southerly winds kind of kicking in throughout the afternoon hours. So wind speeds kind of in that 10 to 15 mile per hour range. Through the evening, we'll slide back through the 50s into the 40s, upper 30s a little bit later on tonight. But overall, it looks okay. We're going to continue with the clear skies as we go through the evening into the overnight hours. And not a whole bunch going on for the next couple days. In fact, we're going to warm up even a little bit more tomorrow. We'll talk about that here in just a bit.
See you soon. There's growing pressure on House Speaker Mike Johnson to take up a foreign aid bill for Ukraine, Israel, and the Indo-Pacific after the Senate passed the measure with significant bipartisan support. But as Natalie Brand reports from Capitol Hill, the Republican House Speaker seems to be holding firm.
President Biden is urging the House to take up the bipartisan foreign aid bill hours after the Senate passed it with major bipartisan support.
Let the full House speak its mind and not allow a minority of most extreme voices in the House to block this bill even from being voted on.
22 Republicans joined Democrats to approve the measure following an all-night session.
The bill as amended passes.
It includes $95 billion in aid for Ukraine, Israel, and the Indo-Pacific.
America led the way for freedom and democracy.
The issue has divided GOP lawmakers.
This is about whether we spend it across the ocean or whether we spend it in our country.
This legislation would send a strong message to Putin that his goal of capturing free, democratic nations will not be allowed to succeed.
Where the bill goes from here remains unclear. The House Speaker says he won't consider a security package that does not include the southern border.
We have to do our job.
Speaker Mike Johnson stood his ground on his way to the House chamber.
National security begins with border security. We have said that all along. That has been my comment since late October. Here's my comment today.
Provisions to boost border security had to be stripped from the bipartisan Senate bill last week after a growing number of GOP lawmakers, including Speaker Johnson, said they did not go far enough. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
House Democrats have signaled they're discussing ways to potentially force a vote if the Speaker doesn't bring the bill to the floor. Speaker Johnson indicated he would oppose such measures and hopes they would not be considered. Republican presidential candidate Nikki Haley is facing an uphill battle in the state of South Carolina, where she used to be the governor. A new CBS News poll shows Donald Trump has a commanding lead in the GOP race. But Haley is doubling down on her criticism of Trump as he takes his immunity claim case to the highest court in the land. Special election is underway in New York's 3rd Congressional District to fill the House seat left vacant by disgraced former Republican Congressman George Santos. Former Democratic Congressman Tom Susi, who previously held that seat for 6 years, is taking on Republican Mazi Pilip, an Ethiopian-born Israeli-American and local county legislator. Voters today braved a snowstorm to cast their ballots.
I didn't get a chance to vote early, so I decided, well, it's only one block to walk, so why not?
We need someone good. We don't need someone like Santos.
The race is to fill the seat left by Santos, who was expelled last year after he was charged with fraud and conspiracy. Still ahead, new inflation numbers.
Prices at the grocery store continue to improve, but other costs are still going up. I'm Astrid Martinez with what's inside the new inflation report.
And next in Health Watch, we're going to have some tips to help you stay active during the colder months. Topping today's Health Watch, in the first study of its kind, researchers at Mount Sinai analyzed patient care across the entire 911 system in the U.S. Among the findings, pain for trauma patients only improved in about 16% of cases after EMS treatment, and almost 40% of children who were wheezing or coughing did not receive breathing treatments during the call. Researchers say response times should not be the only measure of EMS performance and that agencies need to focus on improving patient care. We know exercise is good for body and mind, but getting that physical activity during the winter months can sometimes be difficult. Reporter Michael George has tips on how to stay active and safe.
Joseph King is back to pounding the pavement. The 75-year-old had coronary bypass surgery this past summer. He placed third in his age group at this Thanksgiving 5K just months later.
I lift in the gym 3 times a week and I try to run 3 times a week. My running's coming back slower than my lifting.
He's at it even on chilly winter days.
I love all kinds of exercise, outside.
You can stay active even when the temperatures drop, according to Dr. Michael Vainblatt with NYU Langone Health.
It's been shown by decades of multiple medical studies how beneficial is exercise, whether it's cold weather, warm weather, for cardiovascular function and for mental health as well.
Dr. Vainblatt says some people need to be careful when exercising or snow shoveling because cold conditions can cause spasms of different vessels, which can lead to heart attack. People with cardiac conditions should use their judgment and make sure they don't overdo it.
You have to stop when you have some kind of symptoms, whether it's discomfort, whether it's shortness of breath. You certainly should call your physician. The problem has to be addressed first. For Mr. King, he had his blockages taken care of.
Some patients also need to take extra care to layer up.
Especially in those patients with cardiovascular disease, elderly people, people after surgery, the adjustment of your body, adjustment of your blood pressure and heart rate, it could be a little bit abnormal. But layering up maintains your temperature.
If it was colder than it was today, I'd have a wool hat on. I might have an extra layer on. If your hands get really cold, wear 2 pairs of gloves.
So you can stay the course, warm and safe. Michael George, CBS News.
The American Heart Association says it's good to keep your hands and feet warm in those cold temperatures because they tend to lose heat quickly. Getting COVID while pregnant might raise your risk of developing long-term effects from the virus. That's according to a study from U.S. researchers who followed 1,500 pregnant patients with COVID from 46 states and D.C. 1 in 10 still reported feeling worn out or dizzy 6 months after their initial infection. A new survey out of the UK finds a majority of teens have reservations about having children. Many cited financial burdens, LGBTQ inclusion, and climate change as their reasons. Students also expressed the need for a new approach to sex education to make it more relevant, transparent, and inclusive. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, why hundreds of flight attendants across the country took to the picket lines today.
Plus, we're going to warm up even a little bit more as we go into your Wednesday. We'll look at that coming up. Well, of course, it turned out to be a great Tuesday for us today. Temperatures right around 60 degrees, and we're going to warm up even more as we go into Wednesday. Of course, the Chiefs get to celebrate another Super Bowl win back-to-back. So another parade tomorrow. If you're heading up to Kansas City, it's actually going to be pretty good. It's going to be a little bit breezy, but it is going to be sunny, near 50 by 10 a.m., 56 at noon, up to 62 by 2 p.m. So a fantastic day if you get the chance to go up to Kansas City and, of course, celebrate that win. Also, yesterday we had snow. We had 3.5 inches of snow. That puts us at 6.5 for the season. So right now we're at the exact mark that we got all last season for us yesterday. Looks good right now. Nice shot of our Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex tower cam. We're looking downtown. We have clear skies. We're going to stick with the clear skies as we go through the evening hours. Temperature is good, 59 Nevada, 58 in Anderson, 60 at Grove, 63 in Chanute. Independence is sitting at 62 degrees. Here's 7th. Here's Rangeline sitting at 57. Southerly winds at about 10 to 15. We've had some gusts up there kind of in that 20-mile-per-hour range. Through the evening, we slip back through the 50s, 40s, eventually into the upper 30s later on tonight. But those southerly winds kicking in kind of sustain 5 to 15 for us today with gusts near 20 at times. And these are going to increase a bit as we get into Wednesday. So by Wednesday afternoon, we're going to have gusts 20 upwards to 30. We could peak out at 30 to 35 by tomorrow evening into tomorrow night. And then on Thursday, our winds will switch around out of the north and they will start to decrease compared to what we're going to see tomorrow. Outside right now, it looks good. We have clear skies, not much across the Central Plains. If we look out toward the west, here's the beginnings of our next wave, which is building in, which will start to affect us by the time we head into Friday. All right, let's go through time tonight. We back down, upper 30s to near 40 degrees. As we go through the morning hours, plenty of sunshine. Highs, or at least daytime highs by noon, upper 50s to near 60. Then once we get into the afternoon, check this out, 64, 65, 66 degrees across the region, which is pretty good. Tomorrow night, we slide back into the low to mid 40s. Watch our winds. They switch around out of the northwest once we get into the daytime hours on Thursday. So this ushers in a little bit cooler air. It's still going to go mid 50s, but a little bit cooler by the time we head into Thursday. Then that next storm system will start to head out as we head into Friday morning. So a few showers could try to break out, especially in our northern counties, by the time Friday morning rolls around. However, this system mainly looks to develop to our east. So it does look like we'll get some showers in here Friday morning. Most of the snow will stay to our north, and then it will exit as we get into Friday afternoon. Day planner for you tomorrow, 39 to start, 58 by noon. High temp, 65 degrees, which is Valentine's Day. Don't forget that. 57 on Thursday, 52 with those morning showers on Friday. Cooling down quite a bit for the weekend, but right now it looks to be on the dry side.
Yeah, the temp's not too bad.
No, overall, pretty good.
Thanks, Doug. Coming up, the latest inflation report is a mixed bag. We're going to see what items are going up in price and what's going down. Topping today's Consumer Watch, a new report shows inflation is dropping, but not as much as economists anticipated. Reporter Astrid Martinez shows us where prices went up and where they improved.
Gas prices are down from last year, and the fuel used to heat homes is getting cheaper. That helped drive down inflation from 3.4% to 3.1%. But economists were expecting prices to sink further. Housing costs are a big reason why they didn't. Rent is up more than 6% from last year. Matt Wheeler works at a prestigious university in Providence, Rhode Island, where he can only afford a studio apartment.
To be working a professional job and have the ability to afford a one-bedroom apartment doesn't feel like I'm begging for largesse here, and yet it also feels so unattainable.
The report does show inflation is easing in some areas, including here at the grocery store. Prices only increased 1.2% in January. However, eating out remains expensive, including fast food restaurants. According to The Economist, the average price for a McDonald's Big Mac reached $5.69 in December. On a recent call, executives said they will focus on affordability.
We certainly know consumers are more wary or weary of pricing, and we're going to continue to be consumer-led in our pricing decisions.
These numbers are going to change.
CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger says the Federal Reserve will likely keep interest rates high until prices show more improvement.
Until the Fed sees that inflation is moving closer to their 2% target, I don't think that they are going to see that there's any reason to cut interest rates.
Economists predict inflation will fall in the coming months, but reaching 2% could take longer than expected. Astrid Martinez, CBS News, New York.
You could call it a holiday markup. Some special Valentine's Day editions of popular candies appear to be priced higher than about the same amount of their regular versions. They include Haribo, Sour Patch Kids, and Jolly Ranchers. That's the determination of a food and cooking website publisher who looked at the cost of a few Valentine's Day themed candies at retailers this year and compared them to regular versions of the same candies. Walmart said it's looking into the price differences. Travelers at many of the country's busiest airports have encountered picket lines today. Flight attendants from major airlines held rallies to push for higher pay. These flight attendants in Atlanta are among those protesting at 30 U.S. airports for their National Day of Action. Flight attendants say many haven't had a raise in at least 5 years and should be compensated for all the hours they work before the plane doors close on flights.
We put in a lot of hours for the few hours that we get paid. It's not uncommon to be on duty for 12 to 16 hours and get compensated for between 4 and 6. It is not uncommon for flight attendants to be basically homeless, live in cars.
Federal law makes it difficult for flight attendants to go on strike. Congress, federal mediators, and even the president can block a strike. A final check of the forecast next.
Captioning on KOAM News.
Up next on the CBS Evening News, as many people struggle to pay back student loans, what are the consequences of skipping payments? Then on KOAM News at 6, why the proposal to censure a Carthage City Council member is no longer on tonight's council agenda. Plus, we're going to have more on the early enrollment of kids in Joplin kindergartens. And Frontenac High School welcomes back a familiar face as its new head football coach. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Doesn't feel like February out there.
No, it really doesn't. Amazingly, we had snow yesterday and it melted off so fast. Temperatures today right around 60 on your Valentine's Day, 65 for an afternoon high. It is going to be a little bit on the windy side. Cooling down a little bit late this week. Some showers moving in on Friday.
Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next. And of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. See you then. Let's make it a great evening.